The deception. Commander Maya Chen stared through the viewport of Jupiter Station as the massive hegemony vessel drifted into dock. Even after 5 years, the sight of these alien ships still made her stomach tighten. The Valkyrie vessel was sleek, gleaming with a blue-green iridescence that seemed to shift as it moved. Beautiful, like a shark was beautiful. Deadly and perfect. Impressive, isn't it? Admiral Hassan said, stepping up beside her. The Valkyrie shipbuilding techniques are centuries beyond ours. Maya nodded stiffly. That's what they want us to believe, sir. Hassan shot her a warning glance. The hegemony had been humanity's benevolent protectors since first contact 8 years ago, when their fleet of 30 warships appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. They came with gifts, advanced medical technology, clean energy solutions, and FTL drives that helped humanity spread to Mars, Europa, and beyond. All they asked in return was that humans abide by the hegemony accords, primarily that Earth and its colonies never build warships. For your own protection, the Valkyrie ambassador Outlawed had explained during the signing ceremony. New species often destroy themselves when they acquire advanced weaponry too quickly. The official story was that humanity had joined the galactic hegemony of 23 spacefaring civilizations. The reality was something closer to vassalage. The director will see you now, the admiral said, gesturing toward the conference room. Inside, Director Elizabeth Novak waited with 3 hegemony representatives. Ambassador Outlawed, the tall, silver-skinned Valkyrie with 6-fingered hands, Science Observer Trill, a short, fur-covered Mizari with large eyes, and Security Attaché Krav, a hulking Drokin with stone-like skin and a perpetual scowl. Commander Chen, Director Novak began, the Hegemony Council has approved your request to establish a new deep space mining operation in the Kuiper Belt. Ambassador Outlawed has some questions about the specifications. Maya felt her pulse quicken, but kept her face neutral. Of course, Ambassador. I'm happy to address any concerns. Outlawed's silver eyes regarded her coolly. Your proposal requires significant power generation capabilities, Commander. Far more than typical mining operations. The Kuiper Belt is remote, Maya replied smoothly. We'll need self-sufficiency, including excess power for emergencies and potential expansion. And these hull specifications, Outlawed continued, sliding a tablet across the table. Unusually thick for mining vessels. Micrometeoroid protection, Maya explained. The belt has unpredictable debris flows. We've lost 3 ships to collisions in the past year. Krav, the security attaché, made a rumbling sound. The design resembles old Earth naval vessels. Maya forced a laugh. We're adapting proven designs. Our shipbuilders have experience with these configurations. The meeting continued for another hour, with Maya deflecting questions and providing reasonable explanations for every unusual aspect of the proposal. When it was over, Outlawed finally nodded. Your proposal is approved, Commander Chen. The hegemony wishes humanity success in this venture. Outside the conference room, Admiral Hassan gripped Maya's arm. That was too close, he whispered. Krav suspects something. But they approved it, Maya said. That's what matters. Hassan looked around to ensure they weren't overheard. Project Artemis is too important to risk. The future of humanity depends on it. 3 days later, Maya stood inside a classified manufacturing facility hidden within Cirrus Station. Before her, technicians swarmed over what appeared to be a large mining vessel under construction. But appearances were deceiving, exactly as intended. Dr. Rodriguez, Maya called to the lead engineer. How are we progressing? Sofia Rodriguez, once NASA's top propulsion expert, now a retired engineer officially working on civilian projects, looked up from her display. We're on schedule. The outer hull is 70% complete, with all the mining equipment installed exactly as shown in the approved schematics. And the modifications. Rodriguez's eyes gleamed. That's the beautiful part. Every drill, every excavator, Every piece of mining equipment has a secondary function. The main excavator arm. It houses what will be the most powerful railgun ever built by human hands. The mineral separation chambers, perfect for missile tubes. And the power core, 3 times more powerful than anything the hegemony thinks we can build. Maya nodded, impressed despite herself. 5 years of secret research, of hiding their best scientists' work, of smuggling materials and equipment. It was all coming together. The hegemony's detection systems are calibrated to recognize warship configurations, Rodriguez continued. Artemis will read as a mining vessel in every scan, while carrying enough firepower to take on a hegemony cruiser. If we're discovered before she's complete, Maya began. Then humanity remains a vassal state forever, Rodriguez finished. The hegemony's protection is just an excuse to keep us dependent. They've done this to every emerging species for millennia. Maya had learned this truth 3 years ago, when she'd been assigned as Earth's representative to the Hegemony Council. There she'd met Lorix, a Jafari historian who had secretly shared forbidden knowledge. The hegemony wasn't a coalition of equals, but a carefully managed hierarchy. New species were intentionally kept weak, their resources harvested to benefit the founding races. The Valkyrie and their allies had perfected this system, appear as saviors, impose restrictions to prevent military development, then slowly drain the new civilization of resources while keeping them dependent on hegemony protection. Maya's communicator buzzed. Commander, urgent message from Jupiter Station. Hegemony vessels just entered orbit, unscheduled. They're demanding an immediate inspection of all construction facilities. Maya's blood ran cold. How long do we have? 3 hours before they reach Ceres. Begin evacuation protocols, Maya ordered. Essential personnel only remain. Dr. Rodriguez, how quickly can we seal up the secondary systems? Not quickly enough, Rodriguez replied. We need at least 6 hours to hide everything. Maya made a split-second decision. Then we don't hide it. We accelerate. Is Artemis spaceworthy? Rodriguez hesitated. Technically, yes. Life support, propulsion, navigation, they're all operational. But the weapon systems aren't calibrated, and the stealth features aren't fully tested. It's now or never, Maya said. Prepare for launch. Admiral Hassan needs to create a distraction. 2.5 hours later, Maya stood on the bridge of the Artemis. The ship hummed with power as the skeleton crew prepared for humanity's most daring act of defiance. Hegemony vessels approaching Ceres. Communications Officer Park reported. ETA 22 minutes. Status of Admiral Hassan's distraction. Maya asked. Beginning now, Park replied. Europa Station has reported a critical containment failure in their antimatter research facility. All hegemony ships near Jupiter are responding. It was a fake emergency, but convincing enough to draw attention. Maya hoped it would buy them the time they needed. Ceres Station reports hegemony inspection shuttle still inbound. Park continued. They're not buying it completely. Maya made her decision. Seal all hatches. Disengage docking clamps. But Commander, Rodriguez protested. They'll detect our launch. Not if we time it perfectly, Maya said. Lieutenant Choi, status of the station's mineral processor. Running at 120% capacity as ordered, Choi replied. Creating maximum dust ejection. Perfect. Maya nodded. We'll launch during the next extraction cloud. The mineral dust will mask our heat signature. Through the viewport, Maya watched as Ceres Station's massive processing plants began venting tons of pulverized rock and metal into space. Standard procedure during refining operations, but now deliberately amplified. Cloud density reaching maximum, Choi reported. Visibility dropping below 20%. Now, Maya ordered. Thrusters at minimum power. Take us out slowly. The Artemis shuddered slightly as it disconnected from its cradle, then began to drift away from Ceres Station, hidden within the expanding cloud of mineral dust. Hegemony shuttles have docked at Ceres main airlock, Park reported. Inspection teams deploying. Maya held her breath. If they were discovered now, everything was lost. Distance from station. 1 kilometer, Rodriguez said. 2 kilometers. Any sign they've detected us? Maya asked. Negative. Their scanners are still focused on the station. 3 kilometers, Rodriguez continued. We're approaching the edge of the dust cloud. Prepare main drives, Maya ordered. The moment we clear the cloud, go to full power. We'll have seconds before they detect us. The bridge fell silent as the Artemis drifted through the concealing dust. Maya could feel her heart pounding. 5 years of preparation, and everything now hinged on the next few moments. Clearing dust cloud in 3, 2, 1. Mark. Main drives online, Rodriguez called out. Full power. The Artemis surged forward, its engines flaring to life with power no mining vessel should possess. The acceleration pressed Maya back into her chair as the ship raced away from Ceres. Hegemony vessels have detected us, Park shouted. They're issuing demands for immediate halt. Ignore them, Maya ordered. Stealth systems online. Reconfigure our signature to match authorized transport vessel Delta 7. As the Artemis fled into the darkness between worlds, Maya allowed herself a small smile. The deception had worked. Humanity's first warship, disguised as a humble mining vessel, had escaped its birthplace. The rebellion. They're gaining on us, Lieutenant Park announced, his voice tight with tension. 2 hegemony patrol craft, closing fast. Maya watched the tactical display as the pursuing vessels, sleek, predatory shapes against the black, narrowed the distance. The Artemis had maintained its disguise for 6 weeks, slipping through the outer solar system while testing systems and training the crew. But their luck had finally run out. Time to intercept, Maya asked. 17 minutes, Park replied. They're demanding authentication codes. Maya exchanged glances with Dr. Rodriguez. It's time to see if all our work was worth it. Activate combat systems. Throughout the ship, hidden transformations began. Mining drills retracted, revealing railgun barrels. Sensor arrays shifted configuration, focusing their power into targeting systems. The mineral separation chambers opened, ready to deploy their payload of missiles. This isn't a fair fight, Rodriguez warned. We're facing 2 hegemony vessels with untested weapons. We don't need to win, Maya replied. We just need to survive long enough to reach the rendezvous point. She opened a channel to the engine room. Chief Okonkwo, we need everything those engines can give. They're already at 110%, Commander, came the reply. Push them harder, and we risk a core breach. Risk noted. Push them to 115%. The Artemis surged forward, but the hegemony vessels matched their acceleration. They're charging weapons, Park reported. Evasive pattern Delta, Maya ordered, and return fire. The Artemis banked sharply just as energy beams lanced through the space it had occupied. Simultaneously, the ship's main railgun fired for the first time, sending a hypersonic projectile toward the lead hegemony vessel. The shot missed, but barely. The hegemony ship veered off, clearly surprised by the unexpected response. They're calling for reinforcements, Park said. Message to all hegemony vessels. Humans have violated the accords. Armed human vessel encountered. Require immediate assistance. Maya smiled grimly. Send our message now. To all frequencies, all languages. Park nodded and initiated the broadcast they had prepared weeks ago. Throughout the solar system and beyond, via the quantum relay network the hegemony had generously provided Earth, their message began to spread. To all sentient species of the galaxy. The truth about the galactic hegemony has been hidden for too long. They are not protectors but conquerors. They systematically weaken emerging civilizations, ban them from developing defensive capabilities, then exploit their resources and labor. Today, humanity breaks these chains, We call upon all subjugated species to join us in establishing a true galactic community based on equality and mutual respect. The message continued, detailing evidence of hegemony manipulation that Maya had gathered during her time on the Council, including Lorix's forbidden historical records. Second hegemony vessel moving to intercept, Park warned. Deploy countermeasures, Maya ordered. The Artemis released a cloud of specialized particles, ostensibly for mineral detection, in its cover identity, but now serving to confuse enemy targeting systems. Direct hit, Rodriguez shouted as one of their missiles struck the second hegemony vessel's propulsion system. The alien ship began to spin, its engine flaring erratically. But the victory was short-lived. The first hegemony ship fired again, and this time its beam grazed the Artemis's port side. Alarms blared as systems overloaded. Hull breach on Deck 3, Park reported. Emergency bulkheads holding. Reroute power to forward shields, Maya ordered. Prepare tow. Commander, Park interrupted. New contacts. 3 vessels approaching at high speed. Maya felt her heart sink. More hegemony ships. They couldn't fight off an entire battle group. Wait, Park continued, his voice rising in excitement. They're not hegemony configurations. They're Jafari ships. On the tactical display, 3 vessels of unfamiliar design raced toward them. As Maya watched in astonishment, they placed themselves between the Artemis and the attacking hegemony ships. We're being hailed, Park said. On screen, Maya ordered. The view screen activated to show a Jafari reptilian with iridescent scales and elongated cranial ridges. Maya recognized him immediately. The real fight for freedom was just beginning. Lorix, the Jafari historian, bowed slightly. Commander Chen, your message reached sympathetic ears. You are not alone in your desire for freedom from hegemony rule. The hegemony ships are pulling back, Park reported incredulously. They are unaccustomed to resistance, Lorix explained, and they are especially unaccustomed to facing united opposition. For millennia, they have kept subjugated species isolated from one another, afraid and dependent. Where do we go from here? Maya asked. To the rendezvous coordinates, Lorix replied. Others are waiting. Many others. 2 days later, the Artemis approached a seemingly empty region of space near the orbit of Pluto. As they neared the coordinates Lorix had provided, space itself seemed to shimmer. Some kind of cloaking technology, Rodriguez breathed, far beyond anything we've developed. As the Artemis passed through the shimmering barrier, Maya gasped. Before them floated dozens of ships of various designs and origins, gathered in a hidden pocket of distorted space-time. Welcome, Lorix said over the comm, to the Resistance. The following weeks were a blur of activity. The Artemis became the centerpiece of what was rapidly becoming a multi-species alliance. Maya learned that for centuries, individuals and small groups from various protected species had been quietly working against hegemony rule, gathering knowledge and technology, building ships in secret. What they had lacked was a catalyst, a species willing to openly defy the hegemony. Humanity had provided that spark. Your broadcast reached 18 systems, Lorix told Maya during a strategy session aboard his flagship. Already, we've received responses from the Krell, the Navari, and even some dissident Mezari colonies. The hegemony will respond with force, Maya warned. Undoubtedly, Lorix agreed. But they face a problem they haven't encountered in 2,000 years, organized resistance from multiple fronts. Admiral Hassan, who had managed to escape Earth after the Artemis's flight, leaned forward. We've received word from our operatives on Mars and Europa. 6 more Artemis-class vessels are nearly complete. The hegemony was so focused on finding us that they neglected to maintain their usual inspection schedules. And what about Earth? Maya asked. Hassan's expression darkened. The hegemony has placed Earth under protective quarantine. No ships in or out. They're making an example of humanity's homeworld. Then we make our first priority breaking that blockade, Maya declared. 3 months later, Maya stood on the bridge of the Artemis once more, but now she was not alone. Around her, displayed on the tactical screen, were 37 ships from 7 different species, all built in secret, all defying the hegemony's ban on independent military vessels. Before them loomed Earth, surrounded by a ring of 20 hegemony warships. "All vessels report ready, Commander," Park said. Maya took a deep breath. Begin the attack. The battle that followed would later be called the liberation of Earth. The hegemony, complacent after centuries of unchallenged dominance, had grown overconfident. Their tactics were predictable, their responses slow. The Artemis led the charge, its disguised weapons now fully operational, upgraded with technology shared by their new allies. Maya had studied hegemony battle formations extensively during her time as Earth's representative, knowledge that now proved devastating. "Target their flagship," Maya ordered as the Artemis dove through a gap in the hegemony formation. "All rails, fire." The ship shuddered as its main guns discharged, sending hypervelocity projectiles slamming into the hegemony command vessel. Meanwhile, Jafari ships attacked from above, while Krell vessels, their organic hulls making them nearly invisible to hegemony sensors, struck from below. The hegemony formation began to break apart as ships were disabled or destroyed. 3 hours into the battle, the remaining hegemony vessels retreated, jumping to FTL with a flash of light. "We've won," Park said, his voice filled with disbelief. "This battle," Maya corrected him, "not the war." The following day, Maya stood before the United Earth Council, explaining what had transpired since the Artemis's escape. The council chamber was packed, with billions more watching via global broadcast. "The hegemony is not defeated," she told them. "But for the first time in millennia, they face organized resistance. Already, 7 systems have declared independence. Others will follow." "And humanity's role in this new alliance?" President Okafor asked. "As equals," Maya replied. "Not protectors or protected. Each species brings unique strengths. The Jafari have advanced cloaking technology. The Krell understand biological interfaces beyond anything we've developed. And humanity," she smiled. "Humanity has proven particularly skilled at disguising warships as mining vessels." A ripple of laughter ran through the chamber. "There is much work ahead," Maya continued. "The hegemony will not surrender easily. But together, we have a chance for true freedom, not just for Earth, but for all species the hegemony has subjugated." 6 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of New Geneva Station, watching as ships from 12 different species docked for the first official assembly of what was now called the Galactic Alliance. Among them was the Artemis, now proudly bearing its true designation, HLUS Artemis, the first warship of the human defense fleet. Ambassador Exedleth had been wrong. Emerging species didn't destroy themselves when they acquired advanced weapons. They freed themselves. As if summoned by her thoughts, a communication officer approached. "Commander Chen, we've intercepted a hegemony transmission you should hear." The message was brief, a conversation between hegemony officials discussing their strategic retreat from 3 more systems. "These humans," one voice said, clearly frustrated. "Why did we ever allow them into space? They were dangerous from the beginning." The second voice replied with what sounded like resignation. "Because we underestimated them. A mistake we will not make again." Maya smiled. The hegemony had forbidden humans from building warships, thinking this would keep Earth weak and dependent. Instead, it had forced humanity to become more creative, more determined, and ultimately more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. The ban hadn't prevented humanity from defending itself. It had merely ensured that when humans finally fought back, no one would see it coming. The end.